What's up, everyone? This is Mayan Gordon. We are here live at 5, and today we are talking about how to get unstuck, or really maybe just how to deal with some of those feelings of being stuck. Now, to give you guys a little context on how I know what it feels like to be stuck, I used to be homeless for, Ben and I were actually talking about the other day. We were actually homeless for 2 different periods. Initially, we lived out of an RV. Then we were able to make it back up into a rental house that we stayed in for a while. Before then, we moved in with my parents, lived at my parents' house while I was right after we got married. Okay, here's the story, guys. Here it is, story time. Ben and I were planning to get married, but both of our families were not really happy or supportive of us at the time, because what had happened was I had dropped out of college, moved in with Ben. Things were going great, and then we were in this gas explosion. So our parents really didn't trust us to take care of ourselves. They were very worried about us, not happy with like some of the decisions we were making, and just weren't that supportive. So we decided, you know what? We're just going to go elope. We're going to go down to Vegas, and we're going to get married. Now, not classic Vegas wedding chapel style married. We actually got a really, really nice kind of package out at Red Rock Canyon. It was a private ceremony. We got a cool, really nice limo bus out there. Really beautiful, actually. But we did this, came back up, and told my mom, hey, we're totally broke. We're married now, by the way. Can I stay back at home while we kind of rebuild our life together? And my parents went, yeah, of course you can stay here and rebuild your life, honey. But we're not so thrilled with Ben. He's not really allowed to stay in the house with you. He's got to stay at his folks' house. Or really, he was just staying in our van. We had a camper van at the time that we'd been living out of. Moved back up, stayed at my folks' house for about a year until we were able to get another vehicle that we were then we had a vehicle and a trailer. So I was able to get a truck loan, got my very first truck. That was mine that I owned. And we saved up enough money while we were running our sticker and t-shirt printing business, living at my folks' house, so really didn't have any bills. And we got this trailer. It was not a travel trailer. It was just an empty cargo trailer, but we modified it a little bit and made it something we could live out of, travel around. So there were a couple different times when we were really in a situation where we didn't have a lot of money, had bills because we'd still been catching up from the IRS penalties that we had from when we very first started out in business. We got slapped, you guys. First year in business, when we went to file our taxes, they went, hey, Mayan, you never filed taxes from when you were 18 and 19 and did freelance copywriting. And I went, I had to file taxes? I didn't even know. And I didn't. I really didn't know. But we got slapped with some $15,000 in penalties. That was after some negotiation on the part of our CPA and our tax accountant. Luckily, we had a good tax accountant. Finally, after another crazy scenario with our first tax accountant that we tried to go through that didn't end up helping us. And so we were in this situation where a lot of the time we felt really stuck physically in terms of not having enough money for gas to get somewhere else, stuck in terms of our business where we were making money but had to give all of it to the government or had to pay all of it towards these things that weren't necessarily making us either happy or helping us progress in our life. And yet I was able to get unstuck. And I think a lot of people don't ever get unstuck. And it's a very sad thing, right? Because it's not that you guys aren't trying hard. It's not that you're bad people. It's oftentimes you just don't have the right information to apply your efforts in the area they would be most effective. And this is where either a coach, a mentor, really great friends, or your network, right? Your resources really, really come into play. This is why almost every single person who is highly, highly successful knows and has friends of people who are also very highly successful, people who are really, really smart in certain areas, people who are really experienced, who can help give them ideas, who can help kind of tell them if their ideas are good ideas or bad ideas. And this is something just so invaluable. And so we lived in a stuck place for a really, really long time. And yes, we were able to make enough money to get out of living in that truck and trailer situation. We were able to rent a house over in Spokane, kind of started a home base in Spokane, started our life, our real life up here in Spokane, started our glassblowing business. We're able to make a lot of progress with that. And then into the situation I am now, where I've really been able to find just an incredible number of people who are much more successful than me, much more experienced than me to give me advice, give me feedback, give me information. So I think there's a couple ways to get unstuck if you're stuck. And the core principle around it is to take the same amount of effort that you're already applying, that you're already executing on in your life, but putting it in a more focused or a more efficient or a more productive area to get you more results. Boy, does that feel unsticky. Or like it's just such a great feeling. It lifts so much weight off your shoulder to realize as you go through that, I don't have to work this hard and feel this way. Now, yes, you do still usually have to work very hard, but it's the feeling of working hard, right? You can work hard and have it feel fun. You can have it work really hard, have it feel easy. It can be energizing. Or you can work really hard and it can feel like it's sucking your soul, like it's just miserable, like it's so hard. And if you're in a position where you're working really hard and it feels that way, there are a lot of things that you can do. One is going to be finding a mentor, finding someone who's willing to help you. No matter what your financial situation is, you guys, there are people out there who want to help you. Literally, their life's mission is to make an impact on people like you who are already working hard but are not getting anywhere or not getting to the places that you really want to be. I'm going to quickly stop and shout out all these people who are watching right now. You guys are amazing. We got Bonnie. We got a LinkedIn user who says Spokane's a pretty neat place. The giant rock in the middle of the town is unique. Yeah, so little info about Spokane if you've never been here before. I love this city. You guys, I've traveled all over, and this is really the only city I've ever been where it just feels perfect. You know what our slogan, you know how every city has like a little slogan? Ours is near nature, near perfect. And it's just so dead on. We are literally, you got lots of people live in a place where they go, I am so close to hiking. It's only a 30-minute drive. You guys, I am so close to hiking. It's literally a 5-minute drive to hiking trails from almost anywhere in the city because the hiking trails in the natural areas are in the middle of the city, which is really unique, really cool. There's also, yes, some really nice mountains close by. Let's see. Bonnie says, no one does anything on their own. So true. You guys, even when I was on my own, like me and Ben were on our own in our first two businesses, the first one being diffuser beads, a smoking accessory. The second one was our sticker and printing, t-shirt printing business. I had Ben. I wasn't alone. I had a partner who was with me every single day, providing me help and providing me support. Now, to be honest, you guys, back at that time, we did not have nearly as good relationship skills, nearly as good communication skills, nearly as good emotional intelligence skills as we do now. So to be honest, there was a lot of fighting, not healthy kind of fighting either. The kind of fighting where an outside party would go, you two really aren't meant to be together. This is not a healthy relationship. Yet, we always have had such a strong bond, such a strong love and commitment for each other that we knew we could work through whatever problems we had. And we were both really committed to realizing and being aware, hey, this is not good. We have to figure out better ways to deal with like this stress. And we have to figure out better ways to deal with the emotional pain that we're going through and that each of us is going through separately, but also together. And, you know, finding other people who can support you outside of your main support system is really something, again, that can lift a lot of weight off of your shoulders. Because as much as I support my husband and as much as he supports me, there's always going to be an extra level of either guilt or responsibility that either of us feels towards each other, right? No matter how much we want to be impartial second parties, we won't. We're deeply emotionally connected in a way that makes it harder for us to support each other in certain areas, right? It's harder for me to give my husband financial advice because he's not going to take it as well from me as he does from someone else because he goes, hey, I thought, emotionally in your head, some small voice goes, hey, you're not supposed to be telling me what to do. We're supposed to be like helping each other. And someone else can totally tell him what to do and go, hey, that's stupid to spend money that way. And really, you should be doing these couple smart things to have financial security or to be making good decisions. And the same is true for almost anything you can think of, from relationship advice to business advice to other types of family advice or even health advice, right? sometimes, honestly, you don't want health advice from your doctor. Sometimes you want health advice from a third independent party who doesn't have anything to gain from you. Your doctor's got money to gain. Of course, he's going to tell you to go on those drugs. That's how he pays for his car. But if you go to someone who's, let's say, a physical therapist, and you're not going to be their client, but they have some useful advice to give you, that can be incredibly more valuable sometimes in terms of actually how we're taking the advice and how we're applying it. What's up, Zion, the king of games? Thank you so much for tuning in from YouTube. Special shout out to all my YouTube watchers. If you're on LinkedIn, you can check out my YouTube channel. It is in the featured section on my profile. It is literally that first featured box. It has my logo. Click on that. It'll take you to my YouTube channel. Subscribe. You can see all of my past Live at Fives. Every single one of them is on my YouTube channel. And there are some really great interviews on there too. Bonnie says she stayed at Red Rock. Yes, it's beautiful. And when we went, we were alone. There was no one else there. So it was a really cool place. Never seen rocks more red. So it obviously gets its name from the real color of the rocks. So let's talk a little bit more about getting unstuck, because I think outside of findings, let's say you feel like you're stuck in a place where relationships and connections are the problem. Like you don't have people to ask for help, or you have asked for help and people have said no. Like that's a very real situation. I think we all talk a lot about the utopia that we wished we lived in. But the reality of the world is you can ask a lot of people, you can be a great person and have almost all of them say no, or all of them say no to you, not because they don't want to help you, because they're busy, or they have other things going on, or they don't see the value that they would get in helping you. And if you're in that situation, you got to rely on yourself. You have to rely on yourself. But there's some really cool things. There's some really simple things you can do to either make it feel less stressful or to actually build some momentum financially. And I would say, I'm saying financially because most of the time when we feel really stuck, it's one of two things, money or relationships, right? And I'll be honest, I probably am not the best person to give relationship advice yet. I can always tell you guys about my experiences, what I've been through with my husband, how we've overcome things, because we have overcome a lot. We are a really strong couple now, and we were not always. Definitely not. There were a lot of times when we almost broke up, you guys. And I can share that with you, but I don't know the psychology around relationships in terms of romantic relationships. I've never studied that area. I've really just lived through it. What I have studied, what I have also lived through in probably a much greater degree of variety and application is finances. I've lived in so many different financial situations. I've spent money and saved money in so many different ways to be able to understand, one, the financial effects, but two, the emotional effects of it. So let's dive down into it. What if you're feeling really stuck? You don't have anyone to ask for help. How can you just make it feel better, right? That's step number one. You got to add some more positivity into your internal system. I would say you have to reward yourself. That's like the number one thing that's always made me feel more hopeful, me feel motivated to do more progress, is giving myself a reward, even when the world says I don't deserve it. The world says you're not doing well. You have to save and you get nothing. That's the message we get. That's what everyone tells us. Oh, you don't have any money? You shouldn't go out to eat. You don't have any money? You don't get those nice things. And I'm here to tell you guys, fuck yeah, you do. You totally get those nice things. Now, you have to be smart. You have to be smart about how you spend your money, of course, but you should treat yourself, because you treating yourself tells yourself, hey, I'm worth it. Hey, I'm valuable. I am going to make it. I'm rewarding myself because I believe in myself. This is not the end all reward. This is a little treat along the way to motivate me to get to the next spot. So what are some ways you can affordably reward yourself? Well, I would say find something. One of the best ways, you guys, is a food or a drink that you love, that you go gaga for. That could be literally a 30-cent chocolate at the grocery store. Almost every grocery store or convenience store will have some type of very inexpensive chocolate or candy treat. If you like chocolate or candy, reward yourself with that, and don't eat chocolate or candy any other time. Use it both as a reward and a discipline. This is a really great trick, honestly, to turn your life around in almost any area, is to go, where am I spending in excess? Let me take it all away, but but then give back by rewarding myself in very specific areas when I do or experience specific things. So don't just reward yourself because you're alive. Reward yourself because you did something that you believe is going to make a change in your life. You did something you believe is going to lead to progress. So an example of that might be writing in a journal. Maybe you think, you know what? If I can reflect 30 minutes every day and write in a journal, I think that would have a big impact on me because I could, one, get that out of me, like just that stress relief of writing things down. Two, I could come back after a week, every week, and review what I've written down and start to see and learn some things about myself and my life that I can't learn living them in the moment. This is a wonderful way to gain extra perspective, extra insights, extra information from your own life. And then after you do that 30 minutes of writing, that's when you eat your chocolate. That's when you go to buy your chocolate. And I think a reward system built in for yourself is so valuable. I'd love, if you guys are watching right now, comment what's one way that you guys like to reward yourself. I'd love to hear some different things in the comment. I'll share with you guys a couple things I like to reward myself. It used to be food. For me, it used to be food until I got really disciplined with my eating habits. And now I don't really reward myself with food anymore because it's more important to me to keep my body healthy and to be in shape and feel good about myself and have that level of discipline that makes me proud of me. So how do I reward myself? Well, I still love my whiskey, all right? And I'll get myself a much nicer bottle of whiskey if I've done something where I deserve it. If I put in that extra work to talk to those extra people and provide that extra level of value, maybe I didn't make any extra money, but if I know I provided such an extra level of value, I'll treat myself because I know that value at some point always comes back. Value always exists in the system and can be leveraged or traded for other things, including money. Sabrina Woodworth's journal notes became work lessons 101. You never know. Chips and chocolate covered almonds. Awesome. We got define yourself. Don't let others define who they want you to be. Absolutely. We got Jody saying hi from Auckland, New Zealand. That is awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you. Let's see if it'll let me scroll here. Tom's, what's good? Thank you so much for tuning in from Gran Canaria. I don't even know where that is. I'm terrible with geography, you guys. We got someone in here from Turkey. That's awesome. Oh, another LinkedIn user says that they discovered VAs this year. Boom, fist pound. Me too, homie. I got my first VA this year. Life-changing, right? Like how much time in your life did you get back after hiring a VA? I literally don't even think about the money I spend on the VA because I get so much of my time back. I get the time back and I still am accomplishing things. It's amazing. It's like I'm working, but I'm not working. So, right, there's outsourcing, delegation. There's always being able to make improvements in your life. That's the cool thing about life. There's no finish line other than death, right? But there's no finish line in terms of accomplishments. You can always accomplish more. And what an accomplishment means to you will definitely change and shift over time. But you guys, there's no end to this game. There's no end to finding new challenges to overcome. I'm in the middle of that right now. You know, honestly, coaching is very easy for me. What's challenging is figuring out how to scale coaching and retain all of the value. Boy, what a fun challenge I'm in the middle of. It is amazing. I am so excited every day to be struggling against some of these issues of how do I create communication that gets people to realize on their own that how valuable something is. Yes, how valuable coach is, but in general, that's a cool concept. How do you craftily and intentionally create communications with people that help them through realization and through increased perspective? This is a challenge I'm right in the middle of. So I think it's always about finding challenges. That's another way to get unstuck, is realize what challenges are you facing that are draining you? And maybe instead of putting all your energy into those challenges, create a new challenge for yourself, a new challenge that excites you, that motivates you, that makes you realize that challenge isn't so bad, that challenge is a good thing. And when you're putting your energy into a challenge that you enjoy, boy, are you much, 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 much more likely to be successful at it and overcome that challenge. To be honest, putting your efforts into something that is challenging, but you don't feel good working on, I think it's very unlikely that you're going to be successful in it. whether or not you make some amount of money, it's not going to be sustainable because you're not happy. And happiness really should be the measure of success. If first you're not happy and then also making money or doing well or healthy, it doesn't matter. You guys, if you're healthy and you're unhappy, what is the health even worth, right? And similarly, if you're happy but not healthy, your happiness is worth something, but it's just not going to last as long. It's not going to be as valuable. It is going to be tainted by bad health at some point. So all of these things do intertwine with each other. I think it's really about becoming self-aware about how you feel about your struggle. We all have struggles and we all feel differently about them. That's how one person can go through something and feel grateful for it, and the same person can go, or sorry, a different person can go through the exact same thing and feel miserable, right? It's a lot to do with perspective, but it's also a lot to do with awareness. You have to first be aware of how you feel, and then you can identify, well, what's making me feel that way? Is it the action? Is it the response? Is it the environment? Guys, a lot of you guys, I'm going to be honest, you feel shitty because you're in a bad environment. And if you simply moved, if you simply got a different place or lived in a different neighborhood, your life might be entirely different. This is a really powerful thing to consider, something I've always been really aware of, probably because I was forced into a lot of environments as a kid that I did not enjoy being in, that I was aware, oh, environment has a huge impact, not only on how you feel, but because of that, how you act, how you are productive, how you interact with people. If you feel bad on the inside, you are not going to be successful at making meaningful relationships. You're not going to be successful at being as productive as you could be, because emotions a part of productivity. Emotions a very important part of relationships. So if you haven't taken the time to sit down with yourself alone and really think about how you feel and why you feel that way, that's the first step to getting unstuck. Because once you realize that, it's actually pretty easy to take action based off that. Once you realize, man, this is the thing that makes me feel so bad. Oh, I can do this and I won't feel so bad. Or at least I could try doing this and see what happens. And I know for a fact this reasoning process works because I've been through it so many times with my husband. So many times where, and to be fully disclosed, I am a naturally very happy person, and my husband is not. He's struggled much, much more with internal unhappiness than I have, in being able to confront it. Because of the environment he grew up in, he was taught, and his brain was taught to more, and I think this is more true with men in general in our society. Men are taught to shove that shit down. You don't talk about your feelings, right? And we still even live in a world where that's mostly the message. Yes, there's a lot of other good messages, but mostly the message is men are not emotional. Men should not show as much emotion. Emotion's a woman's thing, right? And the truth of it is emotions are a human being thing. It has nothing to do with your gender. We all feel the same level of emotions. We do. Men get just as hurt by something you said as women do. There's no difference. And being able to talk someone through and say, I think here's what's going on. How does it sound if you tried this? And letting them think about it. And I'm saying to do this with yourself, going, maybe this is the problem. And if it is, if I tried this, that might help. That belief enough will be all you need to execute and at least try. And it only takes one time of you going, I think, maybe, doing and seeing it work for you to believe in the whole system and do it again and again and again. So I just encourage you guys, one, reach out to someone who might be able to help you. Two, spend time with yourself to understand how you feel and why you feel that way. And then three, make sure you're rewarding yourself, you guys. Life's short. Make sure you get something awesome in your life every single day. Whether that awesomeness is going on a cool hike because you value nature and freedom and air, or whether it's a nice treat because you want something really delicious and you realize, you know, when I'm 90 years old, doctor's probably going to tell me I can't have ice cream anymore. So today I'm having a sundae. All these things really play a huge effect in your day-to-day happiness levels, but especially in your progress, in your effectiveness. And the better you're able to optimize your struggle and understand your struggle and be able to execute some actions that help you get through it, the happier you're going to be, the more productive you're going to be, the better a life you're going to lead. I'm going to read a couple more comments before we close out here, but you guys are amazing. As always, please feel free to reach out to me. I do have a limited amount of time, so I don't get to my messages right now every single day. Like if you message me, you might have to wait a couple days before I get back to you, but I get back to everyone. I'm about to go through my messages for a couple hours right now tonight, and I'd love to hear from some of you guys, whether that's you needing help or whether that's you just saying hello. I'd love to connect with all you guys further. Hope you have a great night. Here's my email. Leave it up there real quick while I read a couple comments here. Jorge says, great advice on getting unstuck. I agree that success can mean many things. So once you commit to it, the journey that leads to success without societal expectations that emphasize too much on the bullcrap reward system, we're all ambitious for something. That's so true. And I think Jorge is bringing up a point that is important that I haven't touched on, because I've never had an issue with that, with people, with feeling the societal pressure of what I should do and really listening to that. After I dropped out of college, that was a really monumental moment where I went, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter what the system says. I get to do whatever I want. Oh, wow. And like the police didn't come and pick me up. Like, really, that's the fear. You're like, if I do something against what everyone else says I should be doing, am I going to go to jail? Am I going to die? That's what your brain tells you, because your brain is always and forever going to be a flight or fight mechanism built in there. But you guys, you're not going to die. You're not going to get picked up by the police. Your life is not going to fall apart if you experiment a little in the direction of your own passions and interests, in the direction of your happiness more than anything else. If you feel like something's going to make you happy, you better at least try it. Otherwise, you will always feel stuck. And that's a really great point, I think, to end this off on. Have an amazing night, you guys. Do something that energizes you. Do something that makes you feel grateful. And I can promise you that you'll be more productive and you'll be happier out of that.